Welcome back to our channel. So for today's vlog, I'm really excited to share with you my 6 picks thrillers with bad endings. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Well, obviously, I'm not gonna have any 5-star book with these thriller books with bad endings that I'm going to share with you. So we will start with a 4-star read. And yes. So what I'm gonna tell you first is the synopsis or the plot of a certain book, and then my thoughts about why this book has a bad ending. And of course, I'm not gonna tell you any spoilers, because if these books weren't my thrillers, it could be yours. So I would want you to read these books. It might be the best thrillers for you, but it didn't work for me. You never know. So let's begin. So the first book that I have is a psychological thriller book, The Asylum by Johan Thieren. I rated this book with 4 out of 5 stars because of its bad ending. The synopsis of this book is that we have a high security asylum with, of course, in this asylum we have crazy people, serial killer and child murderer, and some of them are parents. So this high security asylum is linked to a nursery school where their children can go there and see their parents in a very secured room in order for them to have some time with their children while they are in this asylum. So Jan, our protagonist here, applied in this nursery school for a reason, because when he was a child, he was being bullied and traumatized, so he went to a childcare for mental damage for kids, and he met a girl there who is also admitted because of her mental health or being mentally damaged. So they met in that childcare, and after that he never heard from her. He heard in the news that this girl that he met in that unit became a famous singer, and he has been trying to find her, looking for her, like in order to meet her again. And then after that, after looking for her, he heard that she went into this high security asylum for mental illness. Since he thought that this girl is inside this asylum, he's exchanging letters with her. So I think that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna tell you anything. So it's really a good psychological thriller book, and Johan Thieren did a great job with this one. The reason why it has a bad ending, and I hated Johan Thieren for it, because it ended like a cliffhanger. Like he's going to have a sequel for this book, which unfortunately it's not gonna happen. They don't have a sequel for this one, and it's so sad how it ended, because a lot of things happen with our protagonist, right? Like it's a pity, it's so sad, and he's trying to solve everything, and in the end it's like everything seems so fine, and it all wraps up in a good way. And that one particular event that I'm waiting to happen, it didn't happen. Like he just cut it off. Johan didn't cut it off. Like, what? I don't know if he did it on purpose just for the readers to talk about it, I guess, but it's just so disappointing. Like one small thing that could end this book in a really great way, he didn't give it to the readers. So I was so disappointed. But anyway, it's still a good book. It's a 4-star read, so you might want to try reading this and let me know your opinion. That's it. So moving on with those 3-star books, I have a lot of 3-star reads with bad endings. So let me start with Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman. And this is again a very good book. It's a crime thriller for couple. I like the couple between Erin and Mark. They seem to have it all, living their life. They are living in together and they have really good jobs. But unfortunately, Mark loses his job right before they get married, so they have to do a lot of readjustment, and a lot of bad things happen after that unfortunate event that happened to Mark. So I think that's one of the trials that the couple must face. And if they have a really strong foundation, then they can overcome this struggle. So what happened was they went to Bora Bora after their honeymoon as planned. And when they went for scuba diving, they fortunately found this bag, yay, which can, solve their problems financially. Because in this bag we have full of cash and diamonds. And what makes this book really interesting is that you really don't know who your partner is, right? Especially with this bunch of money and diamonds. Like, I thought they are working together, but of course there's gonna be betrayal and trust issues. So it's really a good crime thriller book, and it was well written. You can read it while you're relaxing on the beach, and during summer it's really a fun read for me. But unfortunately, the reason why it's a 3-star read is because Catherine Stedman, our author, was very in a hurry to end this book. As for me, it was a very quick ending, and it's an easy and lazy way to end a beautiful, well-written story that you built up. And that's disappointing, because what I'm looking for this book is the perspective from Mark, more about his point of view, because this book is written in the first person perspective, more on Erin's point of view, and we are lacking here Mark's POV, and that's greatly disappointing, especially when she ended it like that. Like, come on. Yeah, this book started so strong. It was so strong. It was well written. I like the build up and everything. I like how she's very attentive to details. But I don't know why it ended like that. Disappointing. But still, it's a good book. Tried it out. It's a good book for couple. I did enjoy reading it, but again, I was disappointed. Another 3-star book is The Child by Sebastian Fitzek, and I love the concept of this book because we have this child who he thought that he is a serial killer in the past. Like, he is some kind of reincarnation of a serial killer because he could pinpoint where he buried the bodies of his victims. And it's really interesting coming from a 10-year-old child, right? And unfortunately, after that concept, the execution of Sebastian Fitzek was tragic because this book was so messy. It was so messy, and this weak lawyer who has a problem about his, about his past, and Sebastian is like trying to just put it there just to make sense, but in the end it didn't make sense, and it ended like a question mark. It was so vague and a cliffhanger as well. So I was like, what? Why did he do that? I mean, the concept is really good, but he could have done it better. And we have a classic, police being involved in shit like that. So, I hated this book. I did love the idea, but again, the execution was so bad and the ending was worse. That's it. The next 3-star read with a bad ending. I think you really know about this book because I always mention this book in my vlogs. So this is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I'm really sorry if you are tired of hearing this book from me, but unfortunately, this is gonna be part of, thrillers with bad endings. So you already know the plot. We have this, protagonist named Jules who is applying for an apartment sitter in this Bartholomew building in New York. So this building is very old and the residents are like rich and elite people and important people like doctors, scientists, author, and so on and so forth. So this is a very strange job, being an apartment sitter in one of the apartments in this building because they have this strange rules that no visitors allowed. You cannot go out at night. You just stay in your room, and you don't have to talk to the residents in this building. And yeah, it has also a very generous salary. What greatly disappointed me about this book is that our author, Riley Sager, did a lot of things which are not really necessary. Such as, we have this haunted old building with a tragic past, and then we have serial killer and a cult. Like, why do I have to do all these things? It just didn't fit altogether. And he ended it with a really, really bad ending, because the ending was so basic, average, and really underwhelming. All this built up and all this shit that you're trying to portray weren't all true. I'm like, really? Like, what was that all for? A for an effort? And that's it. But don't judge Riley Sager, because this is the first book that I read from him. You might like this thriller book, but for me, this isn't my thriller. So that's it. My last 3-star book, which I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but this book has the same concept with Lock Every Door, which is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, which I recently finished. So we have this protagonist named Rowan, or Rachel, who is applying for this nanny job to take care of these 4 children. But unfortunately, one of the children died during her watch, during her care. So she's trying to convince a solicitor advocate to represent her in court that she didn't kill this child and she's completely innocent. So like I said, like in Lock Every Door, they use the same concept of very old building with a tragic past, that there's ghosts in this house and shit like that weren't all true. This book is a slow burn, dragging, exhausting, with full of unnecessary details, and I think Ruth Ware was trying to target the emotion of her readers, but unfortunately she did fail big time because it didn't make sense in the end. She's trying to make up in the end because in the last 270 plus pages nothing really happened, and then bam! There's the revelations, which was so freaking lame. It's a totally waste of hundreds of pages. So that's it. Last book is a 2-star read for me, which is My Sister, the Serial Killer by Ayinkan Brightwhite. I'm sorry again if I mispronounce your name. So this is a crime thriller book which involves 2 sisters named Ayula and Korede. Korede is the big sister and Ayula is the youngest, who turned out to be a serial killer. And she's been killing her boyfriends for no apparent reason. Korede, her sister, couldn't believe that her sister might be a serial killer. So these characters were so stupid. I'm sorry, but they act so stupid. I don't know why Korede couldn't believe that her sister might be a serial killer. I mean, you are an accessory to the crime. You are helping your sister to get rid of the body, cleaning up the mess at the crime scene, and still you couldn't believe it? Okay. Then, since Korede is a nurse, she's in love with this doctor, and then, you know, her sister was like trying to flirt with this doctor, and unfortunately they became together. And Ayula almost killed this doctor. And when this doctor trying to explain to Korede that she's trying to kill me first, I mean, Korede couldn't believe it. Like, she's trying to choose between this doctor and her sister, like, who to believe. Like, I mean, come on. Really? After your sister killed her 3 last exes, you still couldn't choose who to believe? I mean, that there's a pattern there. I mean, right in front of you. Come on. Anyway, and the ending ended with, again, a question mark. It was so vague. I didn't understand the ending. It was like, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. So, unfortunately, it's a waste of time for me. And I ended up giving this book, of course, 2 stars. So, that's it. So that's it, you guys. Here are the thriller books with bad endings that you should avoid. I mean, you should try. You might want to try these books. You might like them, right? It just didn't work for me, but it might work for you. So please do not avoid them if you don't mind wasting your time. But again, that's it. My 6 picks, thrillers with bad endings. And yeah, guess I'll see you again on my next vlog. So peace out.